Right guys, welcome back to another video, and today I wanted to talk about the winners and losers of the NBA free agency. So today I was going to talk about two kind of winners and two losers. I thought it'd be quite interesting. It is boiling in England, right? It's absolutely boiling, and in my room I live in like some high building and it's so hot. So I'm sorry, it's just absolutely boiling. But right, let's get into it. So for me, the first winner and the overall major winner for this is the Boston Celtics, my team. And now people might say that's biased. However, we got Malcolm Brogdon for some players who don't ever play. Now, people might say Daniel Tice did play. He was quite good, and I quite like Daniel Tice. I was never really a big fan of Aaron. He was good, but he was good defensively, but not really producing his three-point shot. He had a lot of heart and he gave his all to the team, and I really do appreciate that. But you saw he was a bit naive in the NBA playoffs when he gave away, I can't remember how many fouls it was. He gave away some really bad possessions when we had him on because a lot of our other players were injured. Can't even remember what series it was, but it was not a good time for him. However, getting this true point guard of Malcolm Brogdon in is one of the best trades that we could have done. And I'm not quite sure how we pulled it off. He was very cheap for what we got back from him. Now, a true point guard really helps us so we can change the way we play really easily. I don't think he'll start, but he obviously could. And even though there's a debate that he could start, is a good thing. I'm really looking forward to how he plays. Easily a 20-point-a-game player if he's on his game. Will he play much? It's an issue that the Celtics are going to have to find a way to play a lot of their players. We obviously had the best starting lineup in the whole of the NBA last season statistically. So I was really impressed with how they played, and I think next season is going to be a great season for the Boston Celtics, and honestly, top seed in the East, and hopefully get back to those NBA finals and win it next season. I think the new draftee is alright. I think his name's JD Davidson. I watched him yesterday. He seems a bit erratic and a bit all over the place, but the whole Celtics Summer League team seemed awful. Maybe that was just the Heat played really well, but they did not look good whatsoever. But I was really impressed with the Heat. I was really not impressed with the Celtics, how they played yesterday. Very disappointing, and being as I had to stay up until 12:30 to watch the whole thing and be down by about 20 points near the end of it, it was not worth it, and I was quite disappointed, to be honest. However, I did catch the Magic versus the Kings. Great game. Went to double overtime. Like next basket wins, which I thought was interesting. I've never seen that really happen before. And I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is crazy. Someone got fouled. They were going to have 2 free throws. And then they used their challenge and the refs overturned it. And then the other team went down the other end and just did a layup and won it all. That was one of the funnest Summer League moments that I think we'll see all of Summer League. That'll probably be the best game. And I watched most of it, and I was very impressed with the teams. Anyway, that was a bit off track. I wanted to express my thoughts on the Summer League and those games that kind of happened last night. Really impressed. I'm really excited to watch some of the other teams that didn't perform well last season, but are playing like their good draft picks and some young players which they have on their teams. Next, I wanted to talk about the Jazz. A lot of people have been saying they've lost because they've lost Rudy Gobert. I think if they trade Donovan Mitchell for even more draft picks, this will be a great free agency overall. They've got so much draft capital for an aging superstar, which some people might say is bad, but it wasn't working, and that's what people don't understand. It was not working the way they were playing. So I think they were right to probably do it. I think the chemistry was not perfect between Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. I just think it was an overpayment, and they've got a lot back from it, and I think it will be an even better summer if they can trade Donovan Mitchell. Now, people might say this is silly because he's one of the best young players at 25 in the whole of the NBA. Now, if they're blowing it up, they may as well blow it all up. At this point, you can get some good draft capital, some good young players that are a lot younger than him, and that'll be a great summer because then you can rebuild and make an even better team. And that's kind of the point. It didn't succeed with this one, even though they did a really good team and I was really impressed with them. But I think they'll do really well in the coming years anyway. Obviously not this season. It's kind of the same thing with the Spurs. And then I also did want to mention the Hawks as well. Getting Murray and Trae Young in the same team is going to be interesting. Very interesting. I'm very excited to see the Hawks team. But again, they might have overpaid a little bit. Not as bad as Minnesota did. However, they may have overpaid a little bit, but obviously when you're getting a superstar, the team you're trading from, it's always going to be an unfair price at the time. But the Hawks are hoping that they can challenge and get back to those conference finals that they were in. So I really appreciate the Hawks trying to go for it. And I love when teams put all their cards on the table and go for it. And that's going to be really exciting next season. The losers, I've gone for Dallas. They signed Woodley, which I thought at the time was going to be a great free agency. But then it kind of went downhill, losing Brunson, which isn't great for them because he was a really good player for them. And overall, the team's just getting weaker. The team's just getting weaker while other teams in the West are getting better. So, like the Timberwolves, for example, they're going to be a lot better next season. And I think putting it all on Luka is going to be a bit of a detriment to them. And they might not even perform as well as they did last season, which would be an issue for them because they need to perform at a higher level to keep Luka interested, because he doesn't want to keep getting knocked out in like the first and second round and stuff. He wants to progress and win it all, which I think they can do if they play it correctly. But losing Brunson is quite a major thing. However, the money he was asking for was a bit ridiculous, and I'm not sure whether it would have been a good idea to give him it. So either way, it's kind of a lose-lose for Dallas. However, I just think that they could have done a bit better by signing more players. It's not the end of the trade deadline, is it really? So they could make some moves. I don't see what assets they really have to shift to get some new players in. However, I do think that there's a chance that the Dallas Mavericks will be one of the best teams in the league. How can you really not be when you've got one of the best players in the league in Luka? Now, the other losers. Now, this is the one everyone wants to talk about. The Nets. Now, the Nets obviously are one of the key losers. Obviously not losing KD and Kyrie yet, but it seems almost inevitable if one goes, they'll both go. KD has obviously said he wants to leave, and I respect it. Obviously it's something going on with the front office and him, which he's not really happy with. They didn't give Kyrie his money, he just opted into his deal. That doesn't mean he's going to stay, in my opinion. That means he's going to go. They've lost a lot of like role players in free agency as well, which isn't great for them. They have Ben Simmons. That's it. Bit disappointing, but you know, hopefully they get their players that they want. They don't really have control over their draft picks over the coming years, I don't think, because of the trades they've done previously. So I think that might be a bit of an issue for them. However, I don't know if it's as bad as people saying it is. Do you really need Kyrie? You're giving him all this money. He plays half the time. Kevin Durant's getting quite old, and you can get a lot of draft capital back for him. However, this season, they're going to be one of the, they're going to fall drastically. It's going to be, although they fell quite badly last season, they were in the play-in. So how much worse can they really fall? They could just not even be a play-in team next season, which would be interesting after having Kyrie and KD. And Ben Simmons could just be there left alone. Like, is that really what he went to Brooklyn for? He went to Brooklyn to play with superstars, and he's left with no one. He is the only superstar now, if you can even call Ben Simmons a superstar. Yeah. We need to see where all these go, obviously. It's not the trade deadline yet, and we need to see what happens, what teams make moves and where players go. Yeah, so I just wanted to make this video. It's boiling, so I'm just making this video right now. If you have liked this video, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, if you have watched this far, I really do appreciate you, and thank you for watching.